Hello and welcome to Candid Conversation. Our guest this week is Union Minister of State with independent charge of tourism, KJ Alphons. He took charge of the tourism ministry a month back, and today we will speak to him on the Pariyattan Parv, or the tourism festival that is being organized across the country from the 5th of October to the 25th of October. Besides the Pariyattan Parv, we'll also be speaking to him on other initiatives that the tourism ministry has launched, and of course on the challenges and potential in the tourism sector. Welcome, Mr. Alphons, to Candid Conversation. What's the basic idea behind this Pariyattan Parv, and why did the government decide to go in for one?
See, we want Indians to celebrate India. See, we want people to love India, and that love really must be shown by celebrating our heritage. We have a 5,000-year-old civilization, composite culture that we have with our music and our dance, our textiles, our heritage. I think all this is absolutely, it's beyond incredible actually. So we want, first of all, Indians to really see India, and of course also the foreign visitors to come and feel India. And we are moving from the terminology come and see. We want them to come and feel India. And so the Prime Minister the other day gave a call to Indians saying, go abroad, it's fine, go and see what is good abroad, but then you must also see India. So this is one of those great efforts in these 20 days. We are kind of celebrating India and say, let's all be part of this, feeling of India. And then, of course, that feeling leads to the marketing of India. And this is a basic objective.
So that's the basic idea behind the Parv. What are the main features of the Parv, and is there going to be substantive focus not just on encouraging international tourism but also on domestic tourism, and also to encourage people's participation in public events?
This is a completely citizen participatory kind of thing which we are envisaging. We want, we are holding it in over 100 sites. The Ministry of Tourism itself. Then of course state governments in each state, in each district, like in Kerala you have the District Tourism Promotion Council in each district. So they are all taking up as a huge festival of celebration of India. So this involves not only heritage sites and big time destinations, but also in each village possibly, where we want people to focus and say, wow, let's go and see our village. Let's go and see what is beautiful around us. And then let's all feel that much more closer to being a very patriotic Indian.
Tell us more about how state governments and other union ministries are actually working with the tourism ministry to make this Parv a success, and also about the three main pillars that are there of this Parv, like Dekho Apna Desh, tourism for all, and governance in tourism.
Yeah, we are getting all the ministries of the government of India to kind of spruce up. They are getting all the sites, heritage sites in India, to be spruced up and cleaned up properly. Then of course they are all going to be lit. We're going to have dance and art performances in all these heritage sites. So that's one side of the story. Now even power stations, we're going to light up the power stations across the country. The railways are going to deck up the railway stations and ensure that it is spick and span and clean. So we have across the board all the ministries of government of India cooperating with us in this, and so we want everybody to be part of this.
So it's a festival for all and not just for a few select people.
It's for everybody. It's not one of those very eclectic stuff which you only have for the elite in a 5-star hotel. No, this is taking tourism right back to the people, right to the panchayat level, to the village level. We want everybody to say, wow, we are a great people, we are a great nation, we breathe these 5,000 years of civilization. We want everybody to feel that, you see.
As part of the Parv, is the MEA also working with, say, Indian missions abroad to encourage people to visit India, and especially those persons of Indian origin who have never been to India before?
Yes, we want lot more tourists to come to India. Now we have about 14.5 million people visiting in India, and out of which about 4 million are original Indians, OCIs. So we want all these people to come back to their roots and say, let's discover what India is all about, Yeah, because a lot of the children really possibly have not come back to India.
So there's essentially a lot of things for everyone to see, like you're saying. And isn't the sports ministry also organizing visits of those sports persons who are in India for the Under-17 FIFA World Cup?
Yes, yes. I mean, see, now fortunately this is also coinciding with the FIFA World Cup, Under-17 World Cup. So I think a few hundreds of thousands of people are going to come in here. Now, but we want them to also see a lot more of our country, just not football. I mean, they can get to see football in their own country. But this is a great opportunity for them really to experience in India. You know, if you look at really the history of India, a whole lot of big people, Steve Jobs, he came to India before he became what he really was, became the most creative, the modern world architect of modern technology. And also the Beatles. They recorded some of their greatest music after spending time in the Himalayas.
So the ministry is building up on that momentum.
Oh yes, we are building up on all these things. Some of the most creative people have really their creativity really blossomed after visiting India. So we want to say India has so much more. It's something of a big mystery, and how this great country has such a great philosophy, and then of course we have the huge heritage of yoga and Ayurveda, for which we are the pioneers in all these fields, and so we want them to come and spend time here. See, I want all these young people to come and feel what really India is.
And isn't incredible India 2.0, focusing on that you have themes on which you would want to target certain populations in different countries depending on what are their interest areas? Yeah,
obviously that is the objective of the new campaign. We want to target people, in countries, from where we have large number of tourists coming in, countries which we don't have a huge presence in. So we want to target all those countries and to those particular, target groups. And so this is the focus of our new campaign.
As part of the Parv, what also struck me in the itinerary was that the DIPP in the Commerce Ministry will be organizing roundtable conferences with the domestic investors as well as global investors so that they are able to invest more in the tourism sector. So is that going to be one of the priorities of the Parv, to attract as much investment as possible in tourism? Yeah,
certainly. See, tourism is one of the greatest, has got the greatest multiplier effect if you look at really any economy. One tourist coming here, they say create 4 jobs. So it has the greatest impact on the economy. And in India, we employ 14 million people in the tourism industry. So we are a big-time player in India, but we want this share to go up, and touch something like 10% of the GDP we need to eventually generate from tourism. So 2 things: tourism brings in money, tourism brings in employment, and the greater focus of course is employment. And here too, this provides employment opportunities to people who are not highly educated, even an illiterate person, semi-literate person, or somebody who is just a school dropout, and of course eventually graduates. So everybody finds their own level of jobs in the tourism industry. So Commerce Ministry is working on this to bring in more investment. See, we need more hotel rooms at all levels, especially at the lower end. I am aware of the fact that the hotel tariffs at the highest end are a little too high. Why is that? Because there is a shortage of rooms there. Now we need to kind of create possibly something like 200,000 rooms more in India over the next few years.
So is the idea then to have more PPP models in place and to encourage more private investment? Because like you said, there's a great demand insofar as tourism related infrastructure is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, we need to get people to come and just not visit. I want people to come and stay there. I mean, that's how we make money. So there'll be rooms will be sold out, souvenir shops will have business, the restaurants will have business. I'm really not too keen for people just to go and see and come back. Then that doesn't generate any economic activity in the location where it is, where they go. Take for example one destination, Munnar. It's one of the biggest
in
Kerala destinations. I was a sub-collector there from 81 to 83. People go there to Munnar, and it's an incredibly beautiful place, but there are no rooms available there. So what do you need to do? You need to create a lot more rooms. You need to create a comprehensive entertainment package for people. So that means you really have to design a village. I was suggesting to the government, Tata Tea in Munnar has thousands of acres of land which is on lease from the government. I said, take back some land, terminate the lease, pay them what is legally to be paid to them. Don't just grab the land. You can't. So, and then do a master plan. Get the best architects, tourism architects in the world, and design a huge village, maybe going into 1,000 acres or more, where you'll have a comprehensive package. We should have water bodies there, you should have birds, you should have animals, you should have entertainment, you should also have entertainment for the night. One of the big problems which India has is there's hardly entertainment in the evening at night. Abroad, most of the money in the tourism sector comes after the sun sets. Here, most of the revenue comes before the sun sets. It's only ticketing and hotel charges. But you see, if we can have night entertainment, see, that is where people spend the big money. They let out their, open out their purse and spend money by evening. So we need to have a lot more of evening entertainment at these destinations. It's got to be a whole package of things to see, feel, experience. So we need to develop our tourism destinations, all the tourism destinations like this. Have wholesome entertainment for people who come there. Like people who go to Agra. I want them to stay there. I want them to go to hotels and restaurants and souvenir shops and do a lot of shopping. See,
the tourism ministry has also launched schemes like the bed and breakfast schemes or the homestay schemes. So, and the Prime Minister talks a lot about the personal sector, besides, of course, the public sector and the private sector. So people too can associate themselves with providing accommodation to domestic and foreign tourists, isn't it?
See, most of the things to be done to bring in tourists, it has to be done by the private sector. See, government can only create an atmosphere in which the investment will come. And we, of course, help the state governments. And so state governments, tourism is basically state government's responsibility. We give them some assistance to spruce up infrastructure at tourism sites and destinations and linking places. But the bulk of things are to be done by the state governments. And of course, here it has to be done in partnership with the government. Because government shouldn't run hotels, shouldn't be running entertainment business. So
the Prime Minister says the government has no business to be in business.
Absolutely, government has no business to be in business. I mean, we have never succeeded in doing that anywhere in the world, and India is also a good example of that. That's why we are divesting our ITDC hotels. In last cabinet meeting, we had divested 3 of our hotels, given it back to state government and say, now you make use of it. See, government has really no business to be in business. That's not the job of the government. Government's job is to provide the right kind of atmosphere for investment for investment to come in, and then of course also create worldwide awareness that India is an amazing destination. So these are things which the government needs to do, and this is what we are doing.
All right. On that note, we'll take a break. You're watching Candid Conversation. Our guest this week is Minister of State with independent charge of tourism, KG Alphons, and we are speaking to him on the Pariyatan Parv, that is the tourism festival, which is on since the 5th of October and will be culminating on the 25th of October. Stay tuned.
मम्मी तो मेहनत से धोती है और स्कूल में मेरे कपड़े ही कम चमकते हैं।
काश महंगा डिटर्जेंट ले पाती। नया फेना सुपर वॉश आजमाइए। कोमल हाथ, क्या मस्त खुशबू। हाँ, रोज, चंदन, सुपर चमक।
महंगी डिटर्जेंट जैसी धुलाई नए फेना सुपर वॉश में समाई।
फेना ही लेना।
अब 1 किलो नए फेना सुपर वॉश पर 5 रुपए की फेना टिकिया मुफ्त।
फेना।
चाचा, एक कुर्ता पैजामा सिलाना है।
तुम्हारा नाप तो है ही।
आपने अभी तक इन्हें अपनी छोटी सी दुकान में ही बिठा के रखा हुआ है। अल्पसंख्यक मंत्रालय की एक स्कीम है जिसमें आपके हुनर को अच्छे तरीके से तराश कर आपको इस काबिल बनाया जाता है कि आप इस तरक्की की दौड़ का हिस्सा बने और जरूरत के मुताबिक आपको भरपूर आर्थिक मदद भी मिलती है।
ये सब मुमकिन हुआ है भारत सरकार के अल्पसंख्यक मंत्रालय की गरीब नवाज कौशल विकास और सीखो कमाओ जैसी तरक्की की हमसफर योजनाओं से। आप भी हिस्सा बनिए। एम्पावरमेंट विदाउट appeasement.
I am the D3400. I am Nikon.
चाचा एक कुर्ता पैजामा सिलाना है।
तुम्हारा नाप तो है ही।
आपने अभी तक इन्हें अपनी छोटी सी दुकान में ही बिठा के रखा हुआ है। अल्पसंख्यक मंत्रालय की एक स्कीम है जिसमें आपके हुनर को अच्छे तरीके से तराश कर आपको इस काबिल बनाया जाता है कि आप इस तरक्की की दौड़ का हिस्सा बने और जरूरत के मुताबिक आपको भरपूर आर्थिक मदद भी मिलती है।
ये सब मुमकिन हुआ है भारत सरकार के अल्पसंख्यक मंत्रालय की गरीब नवाज कौशल विकास और सीखो कमाओ जैसी तरक्की की हमसफर योजनाओं से। आप भी हिस्सा बनिए। एम्पावरमेंट विदाउट अपीसमेंट।
Welcome back. You're watching Candid Conversation. Our guest this week is Minister of State with independent charge of tourism, KG Alphons, and we are speaking to him on the Pariyatan Parv, that is the tourism festival which is on in the country since the 5th of October. It will be culminating on the 25th of October. We're also talking to him about various other initiatives that the tourism ministry has taken up and, of course, the challenges and potential in the tourism sector. Mr. Alphons, as part of the Parv, our two major focus areas going to be Jammu and Kashmir and the Northeast.
I was in Northeast just a couple of days back, and then I find the entire Northeast is so incredibly beautiful. And the kind of music which they have, if four of them meet, you see they break out into a beautiful choir. In Mizoram and in Nagaland and in Shillong. Incredible sense of music, it's in their blood. And the kind of dance which they have, the performing arts which they have, it's an extremely lively people. So I want India to come and really to see more of Northeast. And of course J&K, we want people to go and visit there, more tourists to go there. And of course Kashmir is so beautiful. I mean, traditionally it's been one of the biggest tourism destinations. Yeah, I mean, we have a little trouble here and there, but I think, see, that's a part of life, isn't it? So I think we want much more people to go into Kashmir and say, well, it's beautiful.
Now, over the last 3 years, Mr. Alphons, a number of countries have been given the e-tourist visa facility by India, and that number has now gone up after these 3 years to 162 countries. What are some other initiatives that the Tourism Ministry has taken up to make it easier for foreign tourists to travel to India?
I think this is the biggest kind of revolution in terms of issuing the e-visa, which covers now a lot of countries, most of the countries, 162, and eventually the number will increase. And last year, in fact, we had 1 million people, slightly over 1 million people using the e-visa and coming to India. Now, in the first 8 months of 8 months of this year, we already crossed 1 million people who have traveled on e-visas to India. So we hope this number touches about 1.5 million at least. I mean, this is fantastic. So this makes it so much easier for people to travel. I think this has been the one biggest, big break which we have got, and this is going to bring in a lot more people. So it's so easy now to travel to India, and I think that's the biggest break.
And what is being done to further boost domestic tourism? Because you said about the Prime Minister's statement recently, where he had said in his Man Ki Baat that it is time that Indians explore the whole country, and not just that. If you are from a particular state, you should be well aware of the best known tourism sites in your state. What are the kind of steps that are being taken to boost domestic tourism?
See, we have the Swadesh Darshan scheme under there are 15 thematic schemes, spiritual tourism, the Buddhist circuit, eco-tourism, the whole lot of 15 thematic schemes are there. Government of India has sanctioned about 5,600 crores of rupees on these 15 thematic schemes. So we are trying to kind of create the basic infrastructure at various sites and locations and destinations, so that the facilities would be so much better. We also have the Prasad scheme, under which each of these sites are taken, and it's for rejuvenation of religious sites, where we take sites and then we kind of create the basic infrastructure there, so that it becomes so much more pleasant for the tourists to come in there. So we're spending actually a lot of money on various schemes to help the states to create these basic infrastructure. Now we want the states, people to visit India, visit the neighboring states, and visit India all across more often. Like last year, we had 1.6 million journeys being undertaken by Indians within India itself. Now, each journey is, we don't consider the person, we are considering each journey. That is how we reach a figure of 1.6 million. 1.6 million trips being taken by people to go anywhere. It could be to their hometown, back to their village, or anywhere in India. We want this number to increase dramatically. Yeah, like last year, the domestic tourism has grown by approximately about 9.5%. We want this to increase dramatically. Like last year, 20 million tourists, Indians went abroad. Fine, let them go and see the world, so that they experience the best things in the world, come back and come back with the feeling, yes, we can also do some of these things in India as well. But the Honorable Prime Minister has exhorted Indians to also see India. I think it's so important that we learn about ourselves first than anybody else, isn't it? I think it's so important. I mean, that's how you become patriotic and say, wow, my country is beautiful. There's so much it can offer. And then I want them to tell their children, wow, look at this. It's not only abroad, but India has so much of heritage and history.
One major concern that tourists have, especially foreign tourists, is with regard to safety of women foreign tourists. Law and order and tourism are both state subjects. So how's the tourism ministry working with the state governments to allay those concerns?
See, according to me, India is a very safe country. The problem with the media, I think a lot of it is exaggerated. I agree with you, yes, any incident, especially against women, it is just not acceptable. Completely agree with you. We shouldn't have nothing happening, no incident happening which demeans the dignity of a woman or anybody for that matter. So all this is not acceptable if it happens. But we have very, very few cases, such cases happening. Take the US. We had a shootout a few days back in Las Vegas where 59 people were killed and hundreds of people injured. We have a gun shot taking place every day in the US. In some city or the other, killing a lot of people. But do we say that US is completely unsafe and don't go there? London and Paris are much more dangerous than any Indian city. So according to me, India is safe. India is a safe
But aren't
place.
there interventions that have been made, for instance, as a multilingual helpline that has been put in place on which foreign tourists can call if they are in distress? Is it?
Yes, they can. And yesterday I called as a customer to this helpline and they were very, very helpful. I mean, they gave me information regarding whom to contact, where to contact. So these helpline, we have about 120 people manning the helpline, and it's multilingual. So they're capable of handling any situation and assisting people who need help. And so we have in some of the states, they have trained the policemen to be in, and posted them to tourist destination, and they are very, very tourist friendly. And we have trained guides and tourist guides to be of great assistance to people in need. So the entire tourism industry is gearing up towards creating a great safe place in India.
You've referred to the kind of progress that India has made on many metrics. In terms of foreign exchange earnings that India has had through tourism, it has gone up to 1,54,000 crore rupees in 2016 itself. Then you talked about how 4 crore people have got direct or indirect employment in tourism. Are there any targets that you have set against these two metrics, also with regard to contribution that tourism makes to GDP or our tourism competitiveness? Because our rankings have gone up, but yet we are far behind countries like Japan, which is at number 4, or China, which is at number 13. We are still at number 40.
Yeah, I mean, we are still at number 40, but remember, over the past 3 years, we jumped 25 positions, and that is the greatest jump done by any country. So we have become more competitive now. So to jump from 65th to 40th position, I think has been a great effort, been hugely successful. We have the 7th largest earnings, foreign exchange earnings from tourism, if you take the whole world tourism ranking. So we have done pretty well, but we need to do dramatically better in the future, because the total number of tourists we are receiving is only about 14.5 million, while just one building in Paris, the Louvre, gets 22 million. and Malaysia, it gets 24 million.
Spain and France, in fact, have the largest tourism inflows in the world.
Yeah. So to create that kind of a tourism ecosystem where everybody feels, well, India is amazing. I mean, that feeling we have to sell this feeling across the board. So we're going to use a lot of social media to create this awareness in niche markets. We're going to select country by country and see how do we deal with that, create that awareness. Yes, that India is a place which they must see, during their lifetime, and then of course have repeat visits.
Is the ministry also looking at adopting best practices from these countries?
Yes. Wherever we see good things happening, yes, we would like to adopt those things. I mean, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We are absolutely open to learning things from other people, and we shall do those things in India which have succeeded globally. And of course, we have our own ideas as well, and we have things which a lot of other people don't have. So we also need to come up with innovations which are very, very local, very, very Indian.
Anytime soon, can we expect the tourism policy to be unveiled? That will in fact help put into action the kind of vision that the government has in the tourism sector.
Yes, hopefully in the next 3 months, we should be able to come up with a tourism policy. We are in discussion with the Honorable Prime Minister. He spent a lot of time on our proposal. He has suggested a whole lot of innovative ideas, so we incorporating all that, and then of course we go back to the Prime Minister, and then we will get ideas also from the industry again, tourism industry. We are very open to ideas, any innovative ideas, because ultimately it's a tourism tour operators who bring in people, and tourist agents and guides. So we're going to listen to all those people, and then...
Will your soon-to-be-launched website be looking for feedback from people?
Yes, we look back for feedback from people, and any idea which really is worth doing, we will do it.
The Prime Minister is in a way the biggest brand ambassador of Incredible India. He doesn't lose an opportunity to promote tourism in his public speeches, etc. How do you see the kind of leadership that's come from the top on tourism?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, the Prime Minister is the biggest brand. I mean, he's created such a brand over the past 3 years. I mean, it goes, the prestige of the country has gone up so much rungs. India is today, considered to be a most important country in the world, all because of the brand power of the Prime Minister. So I guess that's our biggest, Prime Minister is our biggest brand.
Thank you so much, and all the very best for a successful Paryatan Parv.
Thank you.